Hello guys, I am now sitting under the bridge and it is like Nirvana's song. The title is Something in the Way I Remember, and there's a lyrics that underneath the bridge or something like that, so I remember the song, which is I always heard when I was a teenager. Now I am 38 years old, low profile guy from Japan. And today I want to talk about the difference between uh, the poor life of the 20th, early 20th centuries Japan and 21st century Japan. There is a book titled I forget the title, Nezugonge, Nezu something. It is written by the Seizo Fujisawa. Nezugongeura or something like that. I forget the title because it is difficult title of which I can't read in the first glance, and I once or twice tried to read, but I didn't know the exact title until I see some other notes. I mean, the kanji is very difficult, so in that novel, that is about the poor guy who is his best friend has done suicide, and he he is thinking about his friend's death, and he is also living poor life, so he is thinking about his poor life and his struggle with about money, and he is always worrying about the food and clothes to wear. Now in Reiwa Japan, Reiwa is the current title of the era. I mean, we have the emperor, and if emperor changes, we change the title of the era. But now our former emperor was very old and hoped to retire early before he passed away. So now the our time's name is Reiwa, if you don't know about it. So I want to comparing with my Reiwa poorness and this Fujisawa Seizo poorness. I mean, I think it is very early era of the Showa, or even before Showa begin, like Taisho. I don't know exact year of the novel was written, but it was like 100 years ago or 90, 80 years ago. It is far before the World War II, so it is like 1920s or 1930s, I guess. And in this Reiwa era, of course, I don't have money to buy food, I don't have money to buy clothes, and of course it is the big problem for me. But rather than that, the biggest problem is, I think, the device of the IT. I mean, like this iPhone and that MacBook Pros and Mac Mini. I really love Apple computers, so I bought it when I was not broke. But now I am broke, and yen is super cheap, and uh, memories, uh, what do I say in English? That 한도달 things, Kioxia, Broadcom. These prices are crazy high, so PCs and smartphones are very pricey for us, especially in Japan. So if this iPhone broke, I mean, when I came from my poor apartment, I did dropped it in my door, near my door. So if this broken, I can't afford the new one. So I hope this won't broke for like 10 years, I guess. Anyway, so the era changes, and the thing that people is thinking about the poor is also changes. I mean, 100 years ago there's no phone, no PCs, so all they care about their clothes and foods. But now we have to care about the technology things. Of course, food and the clothes matters, but it is not everything that we should care. So if I write the Reiwa Japan novel about the poorness, like Seizo Fujisawa, I think I have to write about the poor guy who can't afford his new phone. So actually, I wrote one novel this early summer, and I am now recollecting it. It is not long, but not short novel, middle-sized novel. It is like 71 Japanese literature papers. So one literature paper in Japan is historically it is 400 letters, Japanese letters. So it is like 28k Japanese letters novel. So do you know that Chinese writer called Hoshorei? I don't know what is the Chinese pronunciation. I also don't know English people how to call him in English culture, but in Japan we call him Hoshorei, and he wrote about the ghost story. The Japanese pronunciation title is Ryosai Si. I don't know how can I pronounce it in English or Chinese, but it is very, very great novel. I really love it. And I also love his personality, this Hoshore guy. He is awesome. I mean, he is always the loser. I mean, of course, he is writing the great novel, one of the greatest novel that human ever written. But also, he tried to get success in the usually Chinese society. So he tried to pass the hardest exam of that time in China, more like every year until he became his 70s, like 71, 72. He tried to pass that exam that normal like Chinese younger person is get. So he tries again and again, and he loses every time, but he doesn't quit. So in that times he got tons of frustration. So that must be the his energy to write such a great novel. I think he has such a lot of jealousy, a lot of frustration about his position in the Chinese society, so he could write a great novel. And me too. I have a tons of frustration and tons of miserable feeling in my heart. I have a tons of complex, inferiority complex. And I have also the, in Japan there's a complex that the who can't study have it. I mean, in Japanese, gakureki complex, people can't study very well, so he or she went to the lower rank university or lower rank schools, and after that he or she become complex about that. But if you go to the one of the top highest level of the Japanese college, which I did actually, I went to the Keio University, which is the one of the best in Japan. But after he graduated that great college, he had nothing. He has he couldn't get nice job. He couldn't get a lot of money. He couldn't get happy, successful life. So he has this Gyakugakureki complex, which I named it because there's a lot of people who get Gakureki complex, but there's very few people that went to the best college and failed. I mean, there's a very few people like me, because if they have the possibility, if they have power to get success at their study, and if they go to the highest university, of course they can go to the higher level of the society, like great jobs, like great salaries, like great titles, maybe doctors, I don't know, 弁護士, how do I say in English? Lawyer, is that correct? Or, yeah, of course. And of course they can enter such a great company like Mitsui, Mitsubishi, Sony, Nintendo. I don't know, actually one of my old friends went to Nintendo. I didn't met him for 15 years or so, so I don't know he's still working in there, but one of my high school friends went there. So I have tons of Gyakugakureki complex, so I have fears in my heart. So of course I have not a talented person like Hoshore, Chinese great literature person, but at least I want to try. I mean, Hoshore has tried in the Chinese society, and he gets successful in the Chinese literature. But me, I gave up in Japanese society already. I completely gave up. I abandoned it. But I want to keep effort to write Japanese literature. So I am like opposite from Hoshore. He doesn't give up in life, and he got successful in the literature. Me gave up in the life, and I am trying to get successful in literature. Of course, the possibility is very low. I mean, 0.5%. I don't know, but it is not zero, right? Of course it is not zero, because I am still living. I can read Japanese, I can write Japanese. Also, I read a lot of books. I think 1000, 2000, I don't know exact number, but I read a lot of books, so I still have 0.5% of the success possibility in my hand, and it is not about the doing well in Japanese society. It is about the to write a great novel. But it is not good to think that I want to write a great novel. I think it is not like that. I mean, if you write your novel, you are from your necessity, you can write at least your novel, and it is, I think, not great as you expect, but at least it is your novel, so I think it is the most important thing. So I think I can write 1 or 2 novels every season, and I send it to the publisher every time. So in this summer, I finished wrote 18 papers novel, like 28K Japanese letters novel. So I send it to the Bungei publisher. And maybe if I can write 1 more novel in this summer, I also want to send it to the Gunzo publisher, which is in October. So, but if I don't finish 1 more novel this season, maybe in next spring there's a Shincho Newcomer Prize, so I want to send it there if my next novel is finished in early spring. Anyway, it is like buying the lottery, so zero, not zero, but almost zero. But it is huge difference, right? Zero and almost zero is different, right?